Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I am JT O'Sullivan. Today, we are looking at the new New England backup quarterback, Matt Corral's final preseason, week 3. Let's get it going. Welcome to the QB School. Before we dive into the video, a quick reminder about the Quarterback School Patreon community. This group is the foundation, the bedrock of this channel. Not only is it a great way to support the channel, but you get even more Quarterback School content. So if you dig the YouTube channel, you will love the Patreon community, really trying to create the environment of what it's like in an NFL quarterback room. All sorts of nuanced details about the position, offensive football, defensive coverages, pressures, pass protections, all that stuff. You dig it. You dig the way that I talk and teach ball. You will love the Quarterback School Patreon community. Hop over there, join, become a member. I appreciate it. As for this video, let's get into it. All right, the new New England backup quarterback, Matt Corral, the guy they wanted a few years ago, I guess. They finally got him right here. There's a lot going on here. I think this is probably a miss to the bottom. Probably plays it a little fast. Gets a little bit fortunate. In my opinion, that's probably a throwaway that comes back into play. So there's a lot going on here. The first part of this is, I think it's a turn down. I think it's a shady decision at the sideline as well. I'm going to do my best here to not make this a video about the Panthers perimeter. Okay. But I want to state that we got issues from the jump. The first part here is I really like this part of it, the design. Okay. Matt Corral out here playing the part, pointing, the wide receiver pointing. We're going to go in here and try to dig this guy out. So you want to come in here, like we're going to come in here and block him, and then we're coming out. Okay, that's all great. The theatrics, love it. Where this goes into the toilet is when this guy decides that he's going to run fit this thing immediately or blitz. So then you can't go in there and be like, la, 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 la. Okay, now I'll come out. Because that doesn't fool anybody except this guy. Okay, so it fools this guy. He's now open. The timing of this thing is good. This is one, throw the ball there. That's where the ball goes. Okay, the other part of this that is funny, to me at least, is this little overplay. Everybody runs this combination nowadays. Well, if you're played this position and you coach wide receivers in Carolina, you can just tell this guy, if you want the ball, bro, you have to go inside the nickel. You can't go around the nickel and expect to get the ball. So, I don't know. I'm going to try my best to not make it about them, but it's hard to do, y'all. It just is. Look at the theatrics down here at the bottom. Go in there and get him, 13. Oh, shit, he's gone. Oh, now what do I do? Oh, I'm chilling. He's open. Throw it to him, Matt. You got to throw it to him. You got to see it's coming open and throw it. He's already off of him. Look at the helmet from 2. He's off of him. Now look at the over up top. For some reason, we decided to run around the nickel, and now it's never going to be there. So then we decided to throw it away, and to me, this is a throwaway. Okay, when he throws this thing right here, the receiver at the bottom is not ready for this thing. It's not thrown hard. He gets fortunate right there, and it almost probably should have been a catch. He almost comes down with this thing. Just throw it. No, not there. Again, nice escapability. The dude is mobile. Give him that. Okay, now it's 3rd and 10. We're going to start the miss parade. Okay, we're down here to the bottom slot, out. You got the leverage you want. You've got the route you want versus this kind of coverage, and we just miss it. It's there. I think the thing that jumps off the film for me with a lot of these big spray misses, besides for the fact that you just can't have it happen in the league, is the way his feet kind of don't allow him to be successful, in my opinion. So you're coming up and running this out versus this out. The kind of leverage you want is right here. So he's going to be inside leverage. So you give him kind of like a little push off at the top maybe. Okay, nothing against the rules, maybe just at the hip and come out of that thing. And the ball, you can leave that thing anywhere out here. Just got to give your guy a shot. Now, the footwork part I'm talking about is at the back, you got to be lined up to throw this. You can't have your feet kind of lined up like down the hash or closed and then come all the way over here. It's going to be really hard, man, with your hips and your torque to be able to be consistent with where you put the ball. So again, to me, that's a big win. That's an easy win on 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10 is hard as hell in the league. That's open, big open. And we're spray missing this thing because our footwork at the top, right there, okay, he's lined up to throw down the hash. His shoulders might be looking to the left, but he can't get there. Heel click, eventually gets there, and now he's got too many moving parts. He also takes one in the back here from your right tackle. Thanks for that. And that's a big spray miss. Next miss here is on the over up top to the number 2. This is just post at the bottom, over up top, in up top by the number 1. It's not wide open. It's certainly NFL open. Again, the miss radius doesn't give your guy really a shot to hit this thing, but you can lay this thing out, a lot of different places and give your guy a better shot than this. Again, the footwork is the thing that, in my opinion, is leading to all these spray misses. So this is a pretty simple concept. I think everybody runs this. This is a middle field closed killer. Okay, so right here, once we get to the middle of the field closed, we're coming down safety here. We're going to run a post down here to the bottom. That over right here where the ball ends up going. And then it's usually paired with an in. And you just kind of read this thing out where this is usually an alert. Once it's middle field closed, you don't really love a big post in the middle field closed because you just run right into the safety. So it's usually just 1 to 2 versus closed. And you've got 2 really good runaways. And, again, it's decent coverage, but we can give our guy a better shot than this. I mean, that thing is, man. And it'd be one thing if this was a one-off throw. If that was like the miss of the drive or the miss of the day, I get it. Not every throw is going to be perfect. Okay? I'm not ignorant to that. But the footwork, see how he's lined up right down the middle? See how eventually he has to get to this? Bro, get to this at the back of your drop. I just, and I'm sure they talk about this. I imagine they talk about this in Carolina. You're just not giving yourself a chance to be consistent. And again, that ball could get caught. It hits him in both hands, but the guy's in the grasp. You leave that, it's yards away from where you want it to be. And it's just the sloppiness at the top of the drop, for me, is not giving him a chance to be consistent. Next one here, 3rd and 10. Now, this is what he can do. Dude is a good athlete. Dude can run it. Right here, nothing there. He decides, I'm going to take it myself. Again, middle field closed, man. Great thing about man defense for these quarterback scrambles is that nobody's got the quarterback usually, unless you're spying somebody, and then usually the spy's not as good of an athlete, no offense, D lineman, than most of these quarterbacks nowadays. So there's nothing there. He makes a really good decision. Long yardage situation. No, go. And then you can see the acceleration right here. Like he's running away from people. That's also an excellent hit by block that we'll talk about from the back. But again, I like the decisiveness. I like playing to your strengths, especially when, you can't hit water off a boat, sometimes throwing the rock. You got to be able to just go. And so to see him take off and accelerate right there and, try to get out of bounds, really nice. So the block I'm talking about that's really nice comes from the back eventually. So he's going to get out on the check down. Out. Corral accelerates, and then watch 32 on the right of our screen. So instead of Randall Cobbing the guy in 2014, he hip buys him. So all that means is you take your front hip and you run by him, and I like how he's got his hands up too. So back in the day, you would just crush this cat's soul, put your ear, your shoulder right into his chin. Okay, all bad health-wise. So now what they do is I call it a hip buy. You put your front hip right in front of him, and you essentially give up your back as well. And then I like the technique of having both hands up here to show that you're kind of intentionally giving yourself up. It's really like taking a charge in hoops, moving charge. Really nice block right there. Springs him for a couple extra, big chunk. Halftime, you dig the channel and you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications. It is an easy and simple way to support the channel. I really appreciate you subscribing, so thank you for doing that. It means a lot to me. Again, the Quarterback School Patreon community, get even more Quarterback School content over there. I appreciate you getting over and becoming a member. We also have Quarterback School courses. Now, these courses are by far the most in-depth premium content available through the channel. I have courses on all of my favorite football topics, RPOs, pass protection, tempos, how to beat every single coverage, and even an entire offensive system and structure. So if you're interested in any of those courses, the link is in the video description. Get over there, enroll. We also have a bunch of free resources available, all linked in the video description. Finally, make sure to follow me across social media platforms. I appreciate your support. As for this video, let's get back to it. If and when Matt Corral has to play for New England, I would imagine you'd see a lot of this. We're going to move the launch point here. There's nothing crazy about this throw, just a little naked keeper to the right with a little sneak flat. But you can see he makes this look easy. Like there's a comfortness with him being out of structure, putting the ball right where he wants. Nice touch right there as well. Doesn't throw a heater. I just think this looks like where he's most comfortable. Again, like the design of this, I always think it's hard to get into the naked gun world and be successful just because those edge players feel like have a little bit easier time seeing you right here when you come out of this thing. But again, we're just going to do what I'm going to call a sneak or hide flat. And that's really the first read. It's almost always paired with an over, probably a post if we've got an extra guy back here. And so it's just a nice way to be able to, the coaching point here is always ride this thing and then make sure you come out of it with enough depth to navigate the edge. So worst case scenario, the edge player charges the mesh, comes right at you or comes out right where you're going to be. You got to have a plan. Now, the plan is easy when the guy's wide ass open. But again, I think this shows Matt Corral's touch, his ability to, not necessarily have to play from within the pocket, pull the string on that thing, right on him. It's really nice. Okay, not every play has to be a massive play down the field, but I think this will be something that will help him when he has to play, his ability to get out on the edge and make these types of throws. Now, we just showed a really nice throw to the hide or sneak flat. This time we're going to try to do the same thing, except now we're throwing the over. Okay, this is a more difficult throw. Again, the spray miss radius is simply too big. This is a throw I think, the vast majority of the guys in the league are going to make a very high percentage time. And again, it's not the fact that it's, it happens every once in a while. We're talking about, getting close to 3, 5-ish misses in one game. When you're not playing the whole game, that's not a recipe to be around in the league very long. So again, get downhill. Okay, the flat's not there. The sneak flat's not there. I've talked about this a few times now in different videos, but might as well mention it right here. This sneak flat, so when he comes across right here, the thing that jacks this thing is usually the end, okay, or the edge player. He can either do it by accident, just because he's a big old number 90, or he can intentionally flipper you, grab you, do whatever. So that's usually where the ball's trying to get. One, and we've already seen him hit it. If it's not there, you're trying to match this over up with the quarterback. So you kind of want to be on the same lane. So as he comes out of this fake, you're running with the over. So this throw kind of happens like this. And again, just the ball location, being able to lead your guy, put it where you want, the consistency of the mechanics. No, I mean, it's right there. The ball is just a little bit behind him. And again, that's the difference between a completion that you should make and an incompletion that looks rough. And thank goodness that guy's not playing the ball, or that could be a pick. Yo. Next one, 3rd and 7. Another miss. This, however, is one of, if it's possible, this is one of my favorite misses for Matt Corral in this game because it shows a tick of anticipation. Now, is it exactly where he wants it to be? Probably not. I'm just being honest. Maybe the wide receiver does the wrong thing. I don't know. I doubt it, though. This, to me, though, if we're going to do kind of like this little mini dagger, so if we're essentially running clears through here and we're going to run this little mini dagger behind it, I like the idea of throwing this thing with some level of A back here. Yeah, that's great. But you still have to be able to put it where you want. And I get it. Sometimes when you throw with anticipation, misses are going to look worse. Yeah, I feel like I've said that enough. Because if this guy does the wrong thing, or if this guy goes at a wrong depth, which we see in Carolina sometimes, wink, gun, these things can look worse than they are. But at least here, you can see the bones of Corral playing with anticipation. Look at him throw this thing. He's separated right there. He's throwing to the number 1 on an in. And that's really nice anticipation. I just think he doesn't put it where he wants to put it. They're not on the same page. But if you're going to have a good incompletion, that's about as good as it gets in my book. From the back, again, the top of these drops to me just doesn't look consistent. Like he's hopping to his left, he's drifting to his left, he's drifting to trouble. He's certainly a little toesy. See him up on his back toe. Looks like he's wearing a heel. Okay, get all your cleats in the ground. Be as consistent as you can be with your hips and shoulders, your eye level. Put that ball where you want. Again, just I don't want to keep harping on it, but just way too many misses. One of the nice throws from Matt Corral this game is a little over to the point on the bunch at the bottom. Be working up top. Again, this is pretty nice, being able to drive it down the field. Nice little pocket movement. Again, the footwork looks more complicated to me than necessarily it has to. I like the fact that he moves. I just think he can move and keep his base. He doesn't need to like pirouette this thing at the very top. And again, you know, I'm always going to think it comes out a little bit late when these guys catch these types of overs all the way at the sideline. But at least he puts that ball right where he wants to. Much more accurate. You can see, I think the rhythm of his game is a little bit better, but just be critical of the footwork here. Top of the drop, great. You know, is he lined up to the left? You know, for my money, he's lined up to the right. Okay, so then we got to move up. The left tackle's getting depth. Up, great right there. Okay, you got to bring your heels together to move violently, whatever. Get back up and reset. You don't have to up, pirouette. Now the thing hangs on you for a little bit and we catch that thing and go out of bounds. So again, it's really important, I think, that Matt Corral is able to find his footwork in the league, and meaning that you can't just recess this shit in the back there and hope that good things happen. You got to be way more precise. Last one here, another miss, 3rd and 11. I actually really like this route up top. If I'm going to clown the perimeter for Carolina, at least acknowledge the ones that I think are really nice. And this one is a unique one for me. So this is what I'm going to consider a burst square out. It's a really nice route to run at this down and distance because it does disorient the corner oftentimes. So when I'm talking about burst square out, I'm talking about the receiver up top. It's press coverage, right? This is going to make any sort of out route tough. We're going to burst this thing. For me, that just is lingo for we're going to come inside. So we're coming inside, then we're going up. So the first down marker is what, the 49, the plus 49, and then we're coming out. So as soon as you go inside on this release, most good corners will think, oh, he's going in. So he's coming up and he's going in for something. Very rarely do you want to burst and come up and then go out. Now, there's 2 good reasons to burst. One, to disorient the guy. The other is to create a bigger window for yourself at the top. So if you were to just go up and run kind of like a normal square out with press coverage, you probably get pushed to the sideline, and then this window doesn't exist. Most teams are not going to run that. So I really like the route. I think maybe the only thing I would add here if I was coaching wide receivers is come up to the top and like give him something and come out of it. But maybe that's not how they do it. Who knows? Who's who in the zoo as far as coaching those things? That's up to them. But for Matt Corral, you got to hook this up, bro. It's 3rd and 11. Get lined up to your left. He's not lined up. Give your guy a chance. Put it out on the sideline instead of missing high and wide again. Again, there are just the most gentle way I can put it, okay, without coming off sounding like a total jerk, is there's just too many misses in this film. Tough. Last one here from the back. Just watch his footwork. Is he lined up to the left? Be critical of it. I mean, he's kind of lined up to the left, but he's not lined up to the throw, right? Watch him eventually have to get there. That back foot angle right there is how I would want to be lined up at the top of the drop. So he goes from slightly lined up to the left. I mean, maybe, yeah, I guess right there, slightly to the left, to where he has to be. And because he's not lined up, guess where it goes? Leans right, inside and up. Damn, bro. Just nowhere near as polished as a lot of other guys who come from a lot of maybe less helmety schools, but are more polished at the top and more consistent and precise with their accuracy. So that is a wrap. Matt Corral, preseason week 3. Now, we don't want to make too much of one performance, and I'm not going to go back and watch every single preseason performance for Matt Corral. I just don't care that much about it. But I do think it's interesting to see maybe why he's not in Carolina anymore as far as the misses. Really too many misses, if I'm being honest. I think that they certainly look like they are fixable because I think that he looks like he's got a lot of stuff at the top of his drop that could give him a much more consistent base to be able to put the ball where he wants. Because you can tell I think he's throwing to the right guy almost every single time. It's just nowhere near where he wants with the ball control, let alone when we're talking about someone who's going to be consistent on Sundays for a long time in the league. You know, you're just not going to miss like that very often and stick around. That's just the reality of it. So we'll see if New England can sort it out. Probably a good opportunity for him to go in there and start fresh with a new organization. Excited to see what it looks like moving forward. Thank you so much for hanging to the end. I will see you next time. Have a good one.